Still typing the same line 5, 10, even 20 times just to print a list? If that sounds familiar, it's time to meet your new best friend in Python, the for loop.
Today, I'll be walking you through every single thing you need to know about for loops, from practical tips to real life examples, and no more copy pasting your way into madness. Hey everyone, welcome to the 22nd tutorial in Python. It's me Saram and I'll be your host for today.
Let's start with the basic idea. A for loop in Python lets you go through a sequence, whether it's a list, a string, or a range, and do something for every item in that sequence. Here's an example with a simple list of fruits. This is one of the most beginner-friendly ways to understand iteration. When we run it, as you can see in the output, we have apple, banana, and cherry. So how does the loop work? First, the loop picks the first item, apple, assigns it to the variable fruit, and runs the print statement. Then it moves to banana, then cherry, and so on, until the list ends. One line of logic, complete coverage. Much better than repeating print 3 times, right? Now, what if you want to repeat something a fixed number of times? Maybe count to 5 or print a message 10 times. That's where Python's range function comes in. When we run this, as you can see, step 0, step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. This loop runs 5 times. It starts at 0 and stops at 4. Why? Because range 5 gives us 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It stops 1 before the number you give it. This is super useful when you're working with indexes or you just need repetition. So if you wanted step 5, you would change this 5 here into a 6. And now when you run it, as you can see, step 0, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Next, let's talk about 2 keywords that give you more control inside your loop: break and continue. In this loop, we're going to be going through a list of fruits. If we find banana, we print a message and then use break to exit the loop immediately. We don't care what comes after, we just want to find what we need. So when we run it, as you can see, checking apple, it moves on to the next one, and then it finally prints banana found, stopping. And the loop breaks and we exit the loop. Now, instead of stopping, we use continue to skip that specific iteration. When we hit banana, we don't want to process it. We just skip and keep going. This is useful for filtering out unwanted cases. So when I run this, as you can see, processing apple, skipping banana, and processing cherry. What if you want to pair every color with every fruit? That's where nested for loops come in. Here, the outer loop runs for each color. Colors is equal to red, comma, yellow. For every color, the inner loop runs through all the fruits. So when we run it, we get combinations such as red apple, red banana, yellow apple, yellow banana. It's a clean way to explore combinations and grids of tables. Now, did you know strings are also sequences? That means you can loop through them character by character. For example, in this piece of code, as you can see, it prints Python, but line by line, with each character taking up one line. Each character in the string Python becomes a step in the loop. This is how you process letters, digits, or even check for vowels one at a time. Python. Python. Okay, let's say 4 of your friends just wrote a math exam and your scores are sent to your teacher. Now, what if your teacher wants to filter through each score and give you a comment based on that? This is a real-world creating example. We loop through each score, check if it meets a condition, and respond accordingly. So if your friend were to score 85, he would only get a remark called keep practicing. 92, he would get excellent. If he were to get 78, once again, he would get keep practicing. And if your friend got a 99, he would once again get excellent. So when we run it, as you can see, 85, keep practicing, 92, excellent, 78, keep practicing, 99, excellent. We do to each score, check if it meets a condition and respond accordingly. This is exactly how you'd handle tests, user ratings, or performance thresholds.
If this video helped you understand Python for loops more clearly, give this video a like and subscribe for more beginner-friendly tutorials every single week. Now it's your turn. What is the most creative or weirdest thing you've ever done with for loops? Type it down in the comments below and I might even showcase it in the next video.